The sun's finally shining, so it's a perfect day to film a book review. I'm here today to talk about A Famished Heart by Nicola White. I don't have my copy on me because I sent my husband out with the children so that I could film a video, and in true my style, I left the books in the car. So as he was driving off yonder, I realised I didn't have the book to hold up. So I will insert a picture of the book, however I don't have it to hold with me because I stupidly left it in the car. That being said, we'll move on and we'll get on with the review because A Famished Heart was a very different read. So A Famished Heart is about two sisters who are found dead in their house at the very beginning of the novel, so it's not a spoiler. They are found by their priest. It's all set in Ireland, and their priest discovers that these sisters haven't been seen for a while, so he goes to check out what's happened to them. Upon entering the house, he discovers things are a bit amiss when the sisters appear to be dead, but they seem to have completely wasted away. The general consensus is that the sisters starved themselves to death, and from there the book opens. Now I will say this isn't the usual sort of crime fiction that I normally read. It wasn't so focused on the investigation as a whole. It sort of looked at all the other elements around, so it focused on sort of broken down family ties, sort of complicated family relationships, and it focused on the lead detective and his life, and it also focused on the priest who found them as well. I found it to be more literary rather than sort of your typical crime thriller. Saying that, I don't mean literary fiction as in the type of literary fiction where you need to really concentrate hard to read it, or you need to sort of be in that sort of mood. I don't know about you, but if I'm sitting down for 5 minutes to read, I don't want to read literary fiction. If I'm sitting down for 5 minutes to read, I want to read something quick and snappy. Whereas if I'm going to read a literary fiction, I want to fully immerse myself in it. This book had elements of the two, so it was very beautifully written and very sort of descriptive, and sort of immersed you in this world without all the sort of the complicated elements that you can get in your more traditional literary fiction. This book focused a lot on the lives of the people around the victims, and I like that. It invited you into their world and let you see how they reacted to the death of loved ones, or reacted to discovering the death of parishioners. But because of this, it's quite a slow burner, so it's not necessarily packing you with all of the different elements of the case like sort of a traditional crime thriller would do. If you don't sort of just follow straight up the path of the investigation and figuring out what's gone wrong, you're off on all these different tangents. And as I say, it is a different read for me because it's not the normal sort of crime thriller that I read, but I did enjoy it. One of the things that I took from this book personally is sort of the question of how could two people go missing without anybody realising. These people were in the community, they were going to the churches and things, and they just sort of dropped off the scene for over a month before anybody really noticed they were missing, including family members. And for me, that sort of sparked a deep unease because it's the sort of thing that we all kind of worry about, where we sort of worry about getting old and think about things, well I do anyway, think about the sort of things of, if I died and nobody found me, what would happen? And that's sort of like an issue at the heart of this novel, where it's sort of there in your mind, and it's not a huge focus of the novel, but it gets under your skin just enough to give you that sort of human relation to the book. Now, I didn't realise when I took this book on for review that this was book number 2 in a series. I don't think that makes a great deal of difference because obviously I read it as a standalone, but there were some bits that I didn't quite get, and I'm not sure if that was just me missing something in the novel or whether it was something that was carried on from the first book, particularly involving some sort of past investigation with our lead detective, Vincent Swan, who is at the core of this book. So that was my only little niggle. I didn't realise that there was a first book and I hadn't read it. But overall, it didn't really impact on my enjoyment of the book. So like I say, if you're looking for a fast-paced crime thriller, this one might not be for you. But if you're looking for sort of a slow burner, that sort of just picture like a little boat on a summer stream, that's kind of what this book was like. It sort of floats along very gently with a bit of a current underneath it. If that's your sort of read, you might really enjoy A Famished Heart. And I'd love to know what you think. Have you read this? Have you read the first in the Vincent Swan series? And would you be interested in reading this? Let me know, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye for now.